That's CD Warehouse in Marietta, Georgia. I was just in there buying some stuff, so let's see what I got. Greetings, y'all. Today I come to you from Alpharetta, Georgia, here working. And when I landed at the airport maybe 2 or 3 days ago, before I came to the hotel, I went straight to CD Warehouse in Marietta, Georgia. I read about the place online when I was doing a little research, what was in the area, and was surprised to find the place. Like, it's mainly CDs and DVDs. He's got a small section of vinyl in the back as well, but really good selection, and prices were, you couldn't beat the prices. I mean, most of the stuff that I picked up was in like the $2.99 range. The most I think I paid was $3.99, and a lot of the prices are in that area, like $4.99. I mean, it seems silly picking up a CD and $4.99 being like, maybe not, and putting it back. But it was partly because so many of the prices were so cheap that seemed like a lot. In other stores I probably wouldn't even flinch at paying $4.99 for a used CD. But cool store, great selection. If you are in that area, I would definitely recommend checking it out. So on that note, let's see what I got. From 1990, we have the Hindu Love Gods, the self-titled release, and the only full album release I think that they put out. It's essentially REM without Michael Stipe, and instead of Michael Stipe you have Warren Zevon, which is kind of an interesting collaboration there. But I guess the Hindu Love Gods history goes back a little bit further, and at one point even included Michael Stipe. But this was the only album they put out. So when I saw this there, and it was, again, it was, I don't know, $2.99, I was like, I'll take a crack at that, kind of be interesting. It's all covers, and if you remember them at all, you probably remember that on this album they did a cover of Prince's Raspberry Beret, which I remember at the time when that came out, it seemed so odd. Now I don't think it seems as odd, but back then in 1990 it did seem kind of odd that, this blues rock kind of super group, REM, Warren Zevon would be covering Prince, but like I said, now it doesn't seem as bizarre as it did back then. But and that's my favorite Prince song, so it was kind of interesting. I don't think I'd ever heard it actually from back when it came out, but it's kind of an interesting take on that song. Some of the other tunes on here that I liked were Walking Blues, Junko Partner was kind of cool, kind of had a little bit of a shuffle to it, I guess. I'm not good with those terms, but that's what I'd call it. Battleship Chains was pretty good, and I remember that from the Georgia Satellites, probably right around the same time. Like, their cover of that was pretty popular, and I like that as well. I was always curious how this sounded, so it was kind of interesting to finally hear it. 1997, we get That Dog and Retreat from the Sun. Very pop, sunny, kind of optimistic kind of sound to them. I remember when this came out, the video for Never Say Never, which was pretty popular, seemed like it was on what we had back then, a music video channel called The Box, and I remember this video was always on there, and I really liked it, and never heard anything else from this. But I remember this CD, I almost picked it up back then, because I remember, I don't know if it was just one specific store or everywhere it was the deal, but the price, it was like really cheap. It was like, $7.99 for the CD, and this is in 1997 when brand new CDs were like, edging towards $20. So I remember it being real cheap back then and thinking about picking it up, but I just never did. And so when I saw it in CD Warehouse, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna finally take a stab at that record and take a listen. And it's pretty good. Like I said, it's kind of that pop, sunny, alternative, sound to it. And Anna Warnker, who was the leader of this band, she's the daughter of the famous music mogul Lenny Warnker. But she's actually gone on, I don't know if it's still around, but she had started her own label in like the 2000s at some time. I think it was called 5 Foot Giant or something like that. But pretty good record. Listen to this, and I like it a bit. You know, some of the tunes on here besides Never Say Never that I like are I'm Gonna See You, Gagged and Tied, Minneapolis, and Did You Ever I liked quite a bit too. So good pickup, you know, again, I mean, it was cheap back then and it was even cheaper now. 1982, we get the English Beat and Special Beat Service. I think I have one other CD by them. I Just Can't Stop It, I think is the one. And saw this. This was actually the most expensive CD of my purchases at CD Warehouse. $3.99. That was the breaking the bank on that one. This is on the old IRS label, which is cool. But you know, if you're not familiar with the English Beat, it's kind of this amalgam of kind of ska and punk and I don't know, funk, it's all just kind of this mixture. You know, they all kind of split off when they broke up into different bands. General Public, I think the Fine Young Cannibals also came out of this band. The big song off of this is Save It For Later, that everybody knows. Some of the other tunes that I liked on this, I Confess, Jeanette, Sugar and Stress I liked, Aki or Aki 123, and Rotating Head is a good one. That, if you hear it, you might recognize it from Ferris Bueller. I think it's at the end of Ferris Bueller when he's like running to get home. That's the tune that they used. The English Beat, I don't know if you're familiar, but they were called The Beat in England, but they had to add the English beat to it because there was a band in America called The Beat already, so they didn't want to get it confused, or I don't know if maybe The Beat kind of threatened some issues with them, but they had to add the English to the name of the band. But good band. 2000, we get Superdrag, In the Valley of Dying Stars. And like probably a lot of people, my introduction to Superdrag was in 1996 or 97, no, 1996 with their song Sucked Out. It was on MTV constantly, and I have that album. I liked it a lot, and I bought their second album, and that one, I don't know if it had a huge impact on me, but again, I saw this. This is, I guess, their third record. I saw this there, and it was, again, cheap as heck. So I was like, I'll take a stab at it, you know, see how it sounds. Can't be that bad for just a couple of dollars, but it's pretty good, you know. This is one out of all of them I think I really need to listen to again. There was a couple of tunes that kind of stood out, but I definitely feel like my attention span was kind of drifting a little bit while I was playing this one. But I think they split up and then they got back together at some point, and then I think they split up again, and I think the band is sort of like it's for good this time, you know. But I think some of the members are still doing some stuff. But some of the tracks on here I dug were Keep It Close to Me, which opens it up, was really good. I remember Going Out I liked a lot. Like I said, I really feel like I gotta give this another listen, because I don't think I was really focused on paying attention too much while it was playing, but you know, we'll see how that one pans out. 2003, we get Junior Senior and Don't Stop the Beat. This one, if you're familiar with them at all, it's because of the song Move Your Feet, which I remember the video back then being on a bit. It's kind of like video game graphics, like old 8-bit video game graphics. And I think the song was also used in a bunch of commercials and something. It was like one of those tunes. If you're not familiar with it and you go take a listen to it, I guarantee you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that song. But kind of like electronic dance kind of stuff. And out of all these records, this one I think was $1.99, and I just kind of was like, I like that song Move Your Feet, and I was just like, $1.99, I'll take a gamble on this, because I was sure out of all these 5 that I bought, if one of them was going to be disappointing, it'd be this one. And it's not bad. There's a couple of tunes on here that are pretty good, you know. I mean, that kind of music goes so far, like only goes so far with me. Like I can't listen to it like constantly. It just like in little bits is nice, you know. I don't mind. But kind of interesting, and this was an enhanced CD. Remember those back in the day? They'd have like video content and pictures and stuff also on the CDs. This had like, I think it has the video for Move Your Feet, and then it has like a making of kind of thing. I haven't watched that yet, but I put them on my computer. I'll take a look at them. And Move Your Feet's also, there's also a live version of Move Your Feet on here. But besides that, the other tunes that kind of stood out to me were Rhythm Bandits, I liked. Boy Meets Girl was pretty good. Good Girl, Bad Boy, I remember thinking was pretty good. And Coconuts was good. Subtitled Movie Edit, for whatever reason that means, I don't know. They're all right, but like I said, a little of this goes a long way for me, and I really was just taking a gamble on this one, and but it's not bad. I thought I wouldn't like any of it besides Move Your Feet. That is it for CD Warehouse. Really cool store, like I said, definitely worth checking out. It's kind of interesting to see a shop like that that's mostly devoted to CDs now, because so many of the smaller record stores that are still around are kind of concentrating on vinyl. You'll go in and it's mostly vinyl, and so it was kind of cool to see. But thanks again. Greetings from Georgia here, and like, subscribe, and all that, and leave me some comments. Definitely let me know what you think of these records. Recommend some tracks off of them if you're familiar with them, and I would love to hear that. It'd be great. So we'll see you next time.